Hello, I'm Gary Foreman from thedollarstretcher.com, and with me I have Deborah Killion from the Studio by Deb. Today our topic is working for LiveOps. We want to thank you for joining us today.
Glad to be here, Gary.
Deb, you have quite a bit of experience with work-at-home jobs. For those who don't know you, could you please share how you come to know so much about finding good work-at-home jobs?
Sure, I'll be glad to, Gary, and thanks for having me. I do have a technology company that I was trying to get going, and also I was a teacher before full-time, and I had gone to a smaller school to try to help them out, and they got cut by the state. And so I was looking for opportunities, of course, to make an income to supplement what I made on the other things I was doing, but primarily I was wanting to make money as I was getting the business going as an entrepreneur. So you know how it is, you kind of struggle along the way trying to pick up clients. So I thought, look on the internet, see what kind of things I could find. And LiveOps is actually one of the things that I found first in terms of making an income at home, and I discovered that's an opportunity that people can do just a little bit or a lot, and they can make a lot more money with it if they do it more often or like every day. But I just wanted something to supplement, and it is a good opportunity.
Okay, well, let's not talk specifically about LiveOps. First, I should mention that neither Deb or I have any financial interest whether any of our viewers join LiveOps. So what you get here today is unfiltered and unbiased. Deb, can you tell us a little bit about LiveOps, who they are, what they do, and how they do it?
Sure. They're actually a technology company that is a call center, you would say. They're located around the Silicon Valley area where a lot of technology moguls are. The vice president of community operations was Steve Whipple, I believe is his name. I may have his first name wrong. But anyway, Tim Whipple was his name. And he has now moved to another work-at-home opportunity where he's the VP there, and that's another story I'll tell you about maybe in a later broadcast. But anyway, they're kind of a technology company, a kind of up-and-coming resource of in-the-cloud services. And so what they basically do is they serve as a middleman between these big Fortune 500 corporations and the agents at home. So they have all these agents. They have like 20,000 phone agents, excuse me, I'm still a little hoarse, that take calls for the company. So they're representing these companies as an independent contractor, and that's what people would be doing if they contract with LiveOps. So like, if there's something for sale on TV, we've all seen, things on TV you can purchase on, be it Home Shopping Network or some of the other, on TV type things, and they will call and they'll actually get, someone will say, let's say it's, I don't want to say a brand, but let's just say, they're buying a lawnmower or something like that, and they'll say, good morning, this is Lawnmower Associates, whatever the name of the company is, may I help you? And so you think you're talking to the company, really it's a kind of a middleman in between there. But the agent that you get from LiveOps, as well as other call centers that also do this, will lead you through the order process, take your order, see if there's any customer service needs, that type of thing. So people are kind of serving as a middleman and as a representative of these big companies.
Deb, what's it like to work for LiveOps? Are they an easy company to work for? And how are they in terms of providing support when you have questions, considering the fact that you're working all by yourself?
That's a good question, Gary. And actually, I do want to tell people that you're not an employee working for LiveOps. You are an independent contractor. So in essence, you're in business for yourself. So this does appeal to those of us that are entrepreneur at heart. You don't own the business. It's not a franchise or anything like that, but you are an independent contractor. Answer your question, though, they are good to work for, if you call it working for them, you have lots of help. If you're on the phone with a customer and you have a question, maybe you don't quite know the answer to, you can go into a chat on the side. They're always in an ongoing chat with you while you're on the phone. They don't bother you unless you need them, but you can say, just one moment, sir, or ma'am, that you're talking to on the phone, and then get an answer from your supervisor or whoever knows the answer. They can look it up for you if you don't know, and then come back and say, I found the answer for you, sir. Here's the answer to that question. You'll be shipped in 2 weeks. So there's a lot of help with that. There are lots of webinars, phone-in type conferences and things like that. And of course, when you first join LiveOps, they are going to put you through some pretty rigorous training, so you will be ready to do it once you first hit the phones. So I believe there's a lot of good. Oh, and you also asked me about the payment. They pay you every 1st and 16th of the month, and I've never had any problem with them ever being late with it. And that's really important to me, and I'm sure it is to a lot of other people out there listening to this. You want to make sure you're going to be paid for all your time. And I know my time is essential in my business. I know it is with everybody else's too. So, and a lot of people out there that are doing this kind of thing also may have small kids and stuff. They don't want to spend a bunch of time and maybe, get a babysitter for their kids while they're working, only to find out that they are not get paid on time, But LiveOps does pay on time every month.
Mm-hmm. Now, what did you find was the best part about working for LiveOps? What did you like best?
Personally, as a business owner, I like the flexibility because, like, if I had a technology job or a client that called me and said, "Deb, can you meet me at 1 o'clock today?" I can just what they call uncommit. You commit for time blocks, but you can release that commit, and someone else can take that, so you can do other things you need to do. So if you're a business owner, or if you're a mother with small children, or somebody that's at home or something, this is a good opportunity because of the flexibility primarily, because you can just sign up for whenever you want to work, and you can also uncommit if something came up. So it leaves that flexibility, and that's really required for me, trying to build a business. So it did work with, me and what I was trying to do with the business. I no longer do LiveOps on a regular basis because I'm so busy writing for folks like you, as well as the technology business is taking off bigger too. But it's still a great opportunity, and my contract is still active, so I could sign on anytime, make some extra money. So that's a nice thing about it. It's the flexibility and the ability to determine how much you want to make.
Now, is there a certain type of personality that you'd consider working for LiveOps?
Well, probably no exact personality type, other than you do need to be outgoing enough to where you enjoy talking to people. You can't be totally shy. I can't say I'm the most social butterfly there is at parties and things. I'm actually not. But I was a radio DJ for 11 years, and you kind of have to want to talk. As you know, I like to. Both in writing and speaking. So if you're kind of prolific and have a lot to say to people, that's good. LiveOps kind of leaves it open where you can be conversational. Now, they do have a script you go by, but you're really a better agent when you start kind of discussing things with you. You don't want to get off the topic too much, though, because they will give you what's called a CE or something you need to improve on occasionally, even though you're not working for them. If they notice you're talking too long and spending too much time on the phones, they will remind you that you're supposed to focus on the sale, But you can still say, "Hey, how's the weather in Atlanta? So you're calling from Atlanta, Georgia," stuff like that, and be friendly. So if you're a friendly, outgoing person that wants to help people, that would be the ideal candidate for a job like this.
Now, do you need any other specific skills or training, education, that type of thing?
They do not require anything other than a high school diploma. I'm sure probably a GED would be fine too. I happen to have 3 college degrees, but not everybody has to have that. No one even has to have any college training or any special training other than theirs. They do require you go through about a 2-week period of training with them, but it's actually pretty fun. You do it on your own, actually. There are some webinars you have to attend where you're listening to what some of the supervisors are saying. But in general, you do it on your own. You just take these tests. You have to pass them all. But they're not that tough. If you listen to the oral presentation they give, these PowerPoints, people should do fine. So anyone with a high school diploma, a lot of college students do this to make extra money. And there are also people a lot older. I know of an 85-year-old lady who's retired from whatever job she did years ago, and she's doing this almost full-time for a lot of extra money, I guess. To supplement Social Security or something. So about anybody can do it as long as they don't mind talking to people and they're outgoing enough to enjoy it. But it will get old if you're on the phone all day. That's kind of the negative side of it. But if you enjoy, though, talking to people all day long like that, I don't guess it'd be a problem. But I did get a little tired of talking like all day long. It is a little bit tiring after some time. So that's why I kind of prefer to spend my time writing and working on the business. That's why I'm kind of here.
Outside of spending so much time on the phone, was there anything else that you didn't like about working for LiveOps?
Not really. I didn't see any problems with any of the management things or anything. A few of the supervisors are a little bit, I don't know what the word is, overly ambitious to try to make a name for themselves, so they'll kind of pull people aside if they say anything in chat that they think is the least bit negative, like the call volume is down or something like that. Sometimes they'll So we don't talk about call volume. And I will tell you that the call volume will fluctuate, and even they will. Once you're in the system, they don't mind you, sharing with each other in other chat rooms and stuff. But if you say anything negative about the company, they may remind you, let's keep it all positive. We want to make sure everybody's happy, and I understand that as a business owner, we want the morale to be high. But it's a good experience if you don't mind talking to people on the phone. Now, there are times the call volume is not as high as others. I will tell you that on a good hour, I made close to $25 an hour or so. But there were times I made like $10 an hour. So the call volume does fluctuate. That's something they don't really want to tell you that much until you kind of get in with them, and you'll find that out for yourself. But in general, their call volume is pretty good.
But so is it fair to say that an average person could make 10 to 25 an hour?
I wouldn't say average, Gary. Probably the 25 an hour people are going to be either working the insurance line. I will mention that you can be a licensed insurance agent in your state and make more with this opportunity than just the general line. I was also on the sales pro line. If you're a good salesperson, you could average what you just said. In general, probably if they just work the general line and they're not exceptional at sales, but they're just taking the calls, they're going to make 25 cents a minute, which equates pretty much to $10 to $12 an hour. Somewhere in there. Might be closer to 15 on a good full hour, where you're talking. You can kind of figure it out. If you get fairly constant calls in a 60-hour block of time, then, you're probably not going to get them like the whole 60 minutes. But let's say you talk 50 of the 60 minutes, and you multiply that times 0.25, and that'll be about what you'll make. So you can kind of work the numbers and figure out what you would make. But the more you're on the phones, the better job you do, and the more sales you make, the more pay you will get.
Now, what kind of equipment do you need to start with LiveOps? Is there anything besides computer or anything special?
You need a high-speed internet connection that has to be the latest, greatest computer, anything like that. But you have to have a secure line. You have to have a phone line as well. They don't allow wireless. You can't use wireless connections because of the security issues, because you're taking people's credit card information and other things like their address and so forth, identifiable information. Also, they want you to have spyware and virus scan for the same reason, because of the security of people's information. And since I'm on the subject, there is a $46 fee for a background check. Everyone has to be run through a criminal background check, and they cannot have any felonies whatsoever on their record, of course. And of course we know that why, because of the fraud issue, because if someone's convicted of some sort of fraud or any felony, then it's thought that that person would not be as trustworthy. And sorry, I'm so hoarse, it's hard to talk. And so they would not accept you if you had a felony on your record. So I just want to make sure that you are aware of that. A lot of people decide not to do the opportunity because they hear they have to pay $46. But you and I know, Gary, as a business owner, you got to invest a little bit to get something back. So to me, that's a pretty small investment considering what you get back from this opportunity. So I think it is worth it.
Yeah, it's a normal rule. We tell people not to pay to get a job, but a background check is a little different, especially when you're going to be taking people's credit card numbers and addresses, as you say. It does make sense. If somebody wanted to pursue a job with LiveOps, how would they do that? I assume they have a website. And about how long does it take from the time that you apply to the time that you actually begin to start work?
Okay, first of all, I'll answer the last question first and then tell them what the website is. You probably would take, it would take somewhere between 1 and 3 months tops. So they do have a little bit of a waiting list because a lot of people do apply for that opportunity. It's a pretty popular one, but it's kind of getting word around. They've been in major media and everything, and Florida's Magazine and everything, so a lot of people kind of know who they are. So it's a little popular. But I would say no more than about 3 months at the most. But you want to get your application in soon if you want to start doing it pretty soon. They go through all these applications. It's not that difficult to get in. As long as you do, you have to do a voice check, where they hear your voice to see if you got good enough quality to be a phone operator to take calls. And then they just look through your application. They get your background check. That's number one. If you don't pass the background check, you don't go any further, to be honest. But that's understandable, again, with the fraud issues and all with the credit cards. But yeah, I would say no more than about 30 days in general. I think I heard in about 2.5 or 3 weeks. It was under a month. Some people it takes a little bit longer. It depends on how many people they need at the time usually. In terms of how to join, sorry. You just need to go to the part of their site where you apply. That's join, join.liveops.com. And it'll show you how to start filling out an application, submitting your information, doing the background check, and all that. And then they'll contact you for the next step. But I wish everybody the best that's wanting to do something like that. If you enjoy talking to people and helping them on the phone, helping them order products, learn about some of these neat companies. That's one of the things I meant to mention I liked about it too is you get to represent these big companies and kind of find out how they do business. And that's kind of an interesting aspect and educational for me as a business person as well. So. But I wish them luck if they choose to pursue that.
Okay, well, Deb, we thank you for being with us today and talking to us about LiveOps and giving us the inside scoop. I'm Gary Foreman from thedollarstretcher.com. I'd like to thank all our viewers for watching. And you can find us at thedollarstretcher.com or on Google+, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. And so we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.